Deja vu is a strange feeling that one has seen or heard something before. I was watching trial TV live coverage of the case in Georgia where a nursing student, Laken Riley, was attacked and found dead. This is a very sad case, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's forensic biologist, crime lab scientist, was testifying and said this.
And you were asked about that and those results. Does that mean no one had the DNA of only one person on them? Is that right?
Correct.
And that only one person on the rocks was Laken Riley?
Correct.
There was no other foreign profile on those rocks, right?
On the parts that were sampled, yes.
Because you swabbed them, correct?
The serologist swabbed them.
Katrina swabbed them. And you were asked about that and those results. Does that mean no one ever touched those rocks?
No.
Okay. Does that mean that Laken Riley hit herself in the head with those rocks?
No.
Okay. And why not?
Just because the DNA of another individual is present doesn't mean they never touched the rocks.
Doesn't mean you always leave a DNA behind when you touch something, right?
Yeah, the saying absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, so it's consistent with that.
I was thinking to myself, where have I heard that before? That the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Then I remembered only a few days ago I was watching the Delphi trial updates being shared with us by Lauren Mathis from Hidden True Crime, when she was a guest on Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. And Ed Wallace said this. Now, had he not have explained this, I would have not understood how profound the meaning is. Here, let's have a listen.
The state's expert, Stacy, basically testified to that there was no DNA at the crime scene or at the search warrant location, Richard Allen's house.
No. See, even you, my esteemed colleague.
I'm going based on what I heard and read.
Right, but see, they said there was no DNA. That's not true. First of all, folks, let me just back up a little bit and tell you this. Okay. I've been classified as a forensic expert by judges and associations based upon my training experience and certifications, my education. Okay, I don't call myself an expert. Others call me an expert. Forensics does not take sides. It's either right or it's wrong. Okay, and I don't play sides because I work for defense attorneys and I work for prosecutors. Okay, I do the forensic science. I give the reports. I explain what goes on and what it means, and then I let the chips fall where they may. That said, what Moran said, there was no DNA. No, that's not true. They didn't find DNA is different than there was no DNA.
Okay.
I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up, Ed. And I purposely read that. I actually led you into that. Okay. Unbeknownst to you, I tricked you, Ed. I wanted to lead into that conversation.
When there's this interaction, there's going to be a transfer of between the parties and the scene. Okay. And then when you leave, you're leaving your presence there and you're taking the scene with you. Okay. It's just that they didn't find it. But the fact is here, if you take nothing away from today's show, take this away. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Okay. All it means is despite my best effort, or not my best effort, but the best effort of the crime scene investigators or the lab analysts, they didn't find his DNA. It doesn't mean it wasn't there. For instance, where did this woman swab these items that were submitted to her? Did she swab the entire article of clothing? I don't think so. Okay. Did she use an MVAC or was she just using swabs? Okay. And the same for the items that were recovered at the scene, the tree branch.
Doesn't that make a lot of sense? And how profound is it that the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence? And when I watch Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, I learn so much about crime scene forensics. So check out their analysis on current trials. And here's some more deja vus I've had. In the case against Jose Ibarra, he was found guilty of causing the gruesome death of Laken Riley in Georgia, USA. Now, he opted to have a bench trial, meaning he waived his right to be tried by a jury because his defense team didn't think he would get a fair trial by jurors because of his immigration status. This came to a boiling point earlier in the year when prominent Republicans, including President-elect Donald Trump, blamed President Biden's policies for Laken Riley's death. So, the story goes, Jose Ibarra is an undocumented Venezuelan immigrant who entered the United States illegally in 2022. Officials said he was allowed to remain in the U.S. To pursue his immigration case, and this helped bring the national debate over border laws. Where have I heard this before? Right over here across the pond in the UK, our government gave a press release in July of 2024 to take steps to reduce illegal migration, and they will roll out funding up to £84 million over the next 3 years to address the reasons for illegal migration in order to smash criminal gangs and secure UK borders and protect the vulnerable. Okay, back to the verdict of Jose Ibarra. He was found guilty by the judge, and the judge commented on the state's overwhelmingly about the evidence that they had against him and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now, many may ask the question, why not just deport him to serve his sentence in his own country? In a minute, I will play for you DutyRon's wise reasoning, but first let me tell you about another research briefing paper that I found titled Deportation of Foreign National Offenders, published in August of 2024. And here is some more deja vu. Deporting foreign national offenders from the UK is a long-standing government priority, but the numbers of deported people has fallen. In a nutshell, I will leave you with a link from the UK Parliament Library, but it states the Home Secretary has a legal duty to deport foreign criminals. This automatic deportation law applies to non-British and non-Irish nationals sentenced to at least 12 months or more in prison for a criminal offence in the UK, and there are exceptions. So, a sentence over 12 months triggers deportation, and offenders can appeal under human rights. A deportation order requires the person to leave the UK and prohibits them from returning, which is different from an administrative removal of people with no permission to be in the UK, but who have not necessarily been convicted of an offence. I will leave some stats on the screen while I continue. And it is shocking how many offenders were released into the community after completing their sentencing, and that figure has roughly doubled over the last 5 years. And just like in America, there is efforts to remove foreign national offenders. However, they are not efficient. So there are various schemes to facilitate early departure. For example, offenders in England and Wales can be released up to 18 months before the end of their custodial sentence. If being deported, they must have at least served half of their custodial sentence before becoming eligible for early release to be removed, and this is really shocking. As many of you may not know this, but foreign offenders in the UK being deported can also apply for a grant if they cooperate with the process. So, is it a good idea to send offenders back to serve their sentence in their own country? Let's listen to the opinion of Crime Time with DutyRon himself.
With that, Mr. Ibarra, if you will please stand.
Count one.
Malice murder, I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. Count 2 will be vacated as a matter of operation of law. Count 3 vacated by operation of law. Count 4 vacated by operation of law. Count 5, life in prison consecutive to count 1. Count 6, 20 years to serve consecutive to count 5. Count 7 will merge with count 1. Count 8, 12 months consecutive to count 6. Strike that. 12 months, but I don't want it to 6. It's just going to be consecutive. Count 9, 12 months consecutive. Count 10, 5 years consecutive to count 6. So that would mean the misdemeanors would come after the felonies. That will be the sentence. Mr. Ibarra, I will advise you that you have 30 days from today to seek any post-judgment relief in the form of a motion for a new trial or appealing this case directly. If you make a motion for a new trial and that is denied, you have 30 days from that date to file your first appeal, first level of appeal. Court will appoint a lawyer to represent you if you cannot afford one. I'll also advise you that you have 4 years from the date that your conviction becomes final in order to file a habeas corpus petition.
This is the conclusion of the sentencing of Jose Antonio Ibarra here in this country illegally. If we deported him and sent him back, he is a danger to come back to this country. We know how that goes. It's happened before. He will now rot from the inside out inside a United States prison, a state prison. And I hope that he has not one good day behind bars. And I send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to Laken Riley's family, her loved ones, and the entire community. Today is not a day to talk about the DP, the death penalty. We will have another discussion on a different day about that because we have to now respect the victims and their families. The victims are the surviving family and friends that we heard from. Let's keep them in our hearts. Let's keep them in our prayers. And I want to thank you all for joining and hanging out here with me. I know you had many other choices to watch. You guys standing by and watching with us here tells me a lot, and I thank you all for it. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, I want to say thank you. God bless, and we will talk soon. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you, but that opinion makes sense to me. And that is why over here across the pond in the UK, more efforts are being taken to enforce the laws we already have. And if I can put my 2 cents in, I would say it makes sense that our government in the UK is investing millions in more research to find out why there is illegal migration in the first place. So, what's your thoughts? Just hold on a second because I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Like in a little exam. No, not really. Okay. Do you agree absence of evidence is not evidence of absence? And do you have a better understanding now that we've heard a great explanation of it? And when it comes to the great debate regarding illegal migration or undocumented immigrants, you know, those are people who enter our communities illegally. Is it a risk if we don't know their criminal history or background? You know, are they running from a dangerous criminal act that they've committed in their own origin? And would it help to keep our communities safer if we knew about this? And the other final one is it better to not deport offenders so that they serve their sentence in our prison system because of the risk of them just coming back illegally and then, you know, we don't have any idea where they are. So, yeah, that's a lot to think about, and thank you. By leaving a comment, you may help someone else that will read your comment. And of course, I love to read all comments as they are valued, and together we can be more informed. And this information may help you or someone you know. In the meantime, on this channel, you'll find a variety of playlists to suit every curiosity about the justice system. And we provide you with a visual to information and the process. Going through a legal worry is devastating, and the Who Knew and Why Me playlists are designed to help you or someone you know. So please like this video if you like this kind of content. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to be notified when I'm going live or upload another video. I'm Karen Cole from Legal Minded Friends. Information is power, meaning if you know something, you can make decisions that are right for you.